are back with another day in the life video, and this week I was impersonated by someone on Poshmark, so make sure you stay to hear all about that crazy story. Let's get started with the packages that we sold.
Yeah, let's get started with the packing, the most tedious part of my day.
Sales are starting to pick up again, so here are just a few that we've sold. The first one that we're packaging here is a Sims t-shirt. We learned about Sims from Ginger Marvin, right?
Yes, Ginger Marvin. I thank you for the brand. Hate you for the lint rolling nightmare. It was just an ungodly nightmare to lint roll this thing. It took forever.
But Sims does really great for outerwear, fishing type gear, so make sure that you're keeping your eyes out for that. We've sold things for quite a high amount, and $50 for a t-shirt, I will take that, and it's sold on Poshmark.
Next up is going to be a vintage Pendleton wool blazer. It's got the green and the herringbone. Lovely blazer. You actually sold it previously to this. I don't think the person paid. Something happened where we still had it. Sold for $30 on eBay, and then we sold it again now for $28 on Posh.
Which is a decent price for Pendleton blazers. Now, if you're going to do Pendleton blazers, I definitely recommend making sure you've got your keywords in there. For this one, we had keywords for equestrian, dark academia, professor, preppy, and academic. We really see these increase in popularity right towards the fall because that's when people are trying to look, that studious look. But they're still selling now, so absolutely get them listed if you've got them. Next here, we have a sale that I'm kind of sad about. I'm not going to lie. This is a zombie DVD set. It is an anime set. If you know, you know. Anime can be huge money in the DVD category. So if you see anime, I totally recommend scanning it. Now this one we had listed for a long time at around $50 and it was getting no interest. So when we did our deleting everything and putting it back on eBay, Tyler had me reprice it and lower it quite a bit. So we sold it at $34.87 plus a 20% off coupon. So not super happy about the price on that, but I am happy to see it go because it's been listed for over a year.
Yeah, I think we picked that up on vacation in Vermont.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time sitting in the closet or sitting in the store.
But anime is still a bolo. So even though this one didn't do so well for us, don't leave behind anime.
So next, there's a little bit of drama with this one because we sold it to the same person twice. So my wife and I have been going through a little bit of struggles, and
we'll get to those.
We'll get to that a little bit later on in this list. But I pulled these as I was leaving for work at like 5 in the morning, and I was packing them, and then I noticed that the listing did not exactly match the item. So all of the photos were of the pair of jeans and clearly say AG. She had listed them, unfortunately, under rag and bone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I probably just spaced. I don't know.
She spaced, or she was listing another pair of rag and bone right at the same time, and it just kept autopilot, and it happens. So we had to cancel that because the buyer didn't respond, and we didn't want to have any issues or dissatisfaction. And then they bought them again after you relisted them.
3 days later, they purchased them again, even though they hadn't answered, which a little annoying, but hey.
It's super unhelpful when we could just have sold them.
But my mistake, and I'm happy that they sold, and they have that rocker motorcycle vibe, which I love, so happy to see them go, but yeah, wish that they had gone the first sale versus the cancellation. And then I
think the first sale was also a little bit more.
A little bit. It was like $4 more.
Sold originally for $43. We sold them again to the same person at $39.
Next ones on here are Trip NYC jeans. This is another really big bolo brand. If you don't know, it is kind of a 90s era.
Oh yeah, it's the punk vintage look. It's the I went to Hot Topic in 2000 and did all my clothes shopping.
Yeah, basically like when we went to high school, this was the brand. Super cool. Of course, I was a little bit emo myself, so these were things that I absolutely wanted to wear. So super popular for millennials, definitely. This one I thought I would get more money for, but they were a little bit understated. They had a lightning bolt on the butt, but other than that, they were pretty understated, so they sat for quite a while. They sold on Poshmark for $26, so not great for the brand. I usually see this brand selling between $40 and $50, but I'm still really happy to see them go, and it was a listing that I had double listed. If you have seen our series, we do some double listings to see if we can get a item to sell better with a double listing, and this was one of those cases.
Next up is a pair of Anthropologie joggers. These are the Wanderer, the Nomad, something like that. The Nomad. So just normal gray, millennial gray jogging sweatpants. Sold for $28 on eBay. Anthro, what can you say about it? It's a bread and butter. It sells consistently. All of their stuff will move at some point. Certain brands are better than others. Certain brands are higher than others. These are just by Anthropologie. And happy with $28 for a pair of sweatpants. He's only spent like $4 or $5.
Last one here is a pair of Judy Blue jeans. As we tell you all the time, Judy Blue always sells. The price point is reducing, but they still sell. These sold for $28. Now, I did make an error on this situation. This particular listing, there was no problems with it, but a previous listing had a problem and it impacted this listing. It's a very long story. Not worth going into it, but because of my mistake, I did offer to give the buyer another pair of jeans that were her size, which is what she wanted, a size 27. And so I did that. She accepted it. Everything went well. 5 stars. Everything was great. So that is a sale I am happy to say went well, and I didn't have to deal with a return or a cancellation. Now, because we're talking about that, we should mention our run with cases.
It's been super brutal, and that's why we have been paranoid with all of the things that we've been sending out lately. This last instance has put the fear of God in us a little bit. So we are on our best behavior. It's just we are taking that extra second, that extra time to make sure that everything is going perfectly. I think I will attribute this to the fact that you have taken a job and we're just not in the same headspace, really. And it's just, there's a lot of running around and a lot of craziness at the moment in our lives. Not an excuse. We do have to be better about it.
Yes.
But I think we're going to be better moving forward.
Yeah, so I think the transition from full-time to part-time, we're still working out what the best systems are to put in place for this, you know, how we should divvy up work and where we should be doubling up on our efforts and where we should be separating our efforts, and we're still kind of working on that, figuring that out. But we've had situations, for example, where there was a Storybook Knits sweater, I'm actually looking at it, it is to my right, where it was a 2-piece sweater, but somehow the 2 pieces got separated in inventory. So when it was pulled, the sweater itself was shipped out, but the second piece, the little vest thing that goes underneath, was not shipped with it. The buyer really wanted both pieces, of course, because that's how it was advertised, and we weren't able to just send that to them because you can't ship outside Poshmark, so that got canceled. And of course, as you know, with things like this, the buyer never rebought, so that was a sad situation. We had another one where we had 2 pairs of Piccolino.
This is my bad. We actually photographed or recorded in a previous day in the life.
We did.
Sending the wrong ones. And you have immortalized my shame forever.
So that happened as well. But then there were also just issues where buyers were opening up returns for...
Oh, God. It was so bad. Loose thread on the label. I will fight that to the death of... Like, no, that is not... It was a little piece of thread by the label inside. It's not even on the out... No.
Yeah, and then there was a pair of Lily Pulitzer leggings that had pilling on it, which pilling was noted, but they claimed that there was also a loose thread, which was, like, they had to zoom in to show you. So that was a step too far for them on these leggings, which I thought was a lot. So we've had both the mixture of that. And then on Macari, another thing that happened was an item got shipped out, but it never scanned, never tracked, and it ended up being auto-canceled because it was just too long. Who knows where that went? That's in the ethers, I guess. I don't know.
I know for a fact I handed that in.
Yeah. So we've just had a string of bad luck. Literally 25% of our Poshmark sales previous to this last week was returned.
Yeah, it was so bad.
We are working on it, and we are on an upswing. But yeah, it's been rough. So if you have been experiencing an uptick in returns or cancellations, you are not alone. This has been crazy for us. We do take some of the blame, but I definitely think there is some craziness in the atmosphere,
I would say we would take 30 to 40% of the blame. Yeah. I think is fair. A bunch of those cases have been garbage cases. Yeah. And no, I will not accept any responsibility for those people being horrible.
You are experiencing that, you're not alone. Please let me know in the comments below if I'm alone. Please, I need to hear. Like, if you guys are experiencing the craziness in the atmosphere with all of these cases, please let me know, because, oh my goodness, it definitely took a shot to my confidence a little bit. So, Tyler's tip. We are outsourcing this week. We are outsourcing Tyler's tip to you guys. So, we did a video a little while back where we talked about having to cancel a sale because of an oil stain. And the oil stain is entirely my fault. I will take blame for that. I had oil in my hair because I do that to treat it sometimes, and I sat down on a chair where these pants were waiting to be packaged, and I got oil on them. Olive oil. So
it happens. So we are going to test some of your comments. We got a lot of them. We got 1 billion comments for how to treat stain. So we are going to see what works best between 2 different choices. I'll pop up some of the comments. The 2 main ones were the Dawn dish soap with a little bit of baking soda and rub that in with a toothbrush as a paste and let it set. The other one that someone recommended, which I found in the store, and it was like $2 to buy, was a specialty product called Carbona. It says right there that it's for fats, cooking oils, etc. So I'm interested to see how that goes. See if we have a newfound trick for you all.
Yeah, so you guys will be watching us testing this out, and we will show you the results and let you know what we think of whether or not either of these options work and which one works better if one of them does. So I'm excited to see that.
So here is the actual infamous pair of pants that my wife ruined. I tried stain treating them. I did use a couple different things that I have tried in the past. I'd actually kind of almost pulled the dye out of the fabric, so it's kind of like a lightened stain now instead of the oil stain. So they're still not
fixed.
They're not fixed. They are not sellable at this point. We're just going to have to eat the cost of it, and we're going to try it out. So here I'm going to use some olive oil, which is the source of the problem in the first place, to re-destroy them even more. I'm going to dab a spot on both legs, and then we're going to treat each leg separately and see which one works better. So here I am testing Carbona. So this is the product that I picked up at the store. It was recommended in the comments. It was really, really inexpensive. It was only like $2-3 for the whole bottle. It is a small bottle. It says to apply liberally and coat the stain and then dab it with your finger or a cloth. So I just dabbed it with my finger and said let it sit for a bit and then rinse out with warm water. So we will see how that works. Next is going to be Dawn dish soap and baking soda with a little bit of water. You turn that into a paste, apply with a toothbrush, let it set, let it dry, let it soak up all the oil and the grease, and then wash like normal. And then we will see how this goes.
Looking at these pants, they didn't quite work.
To the pants' credit, we did kind of overdo the staining of them when we were doing the test. Now, if I were to say which side won, it would be what is now the top, which was the baking soda and the dish soap. Both of them did leave a white ring of residue.
Yeah.
So not great results overall. It might be just the fabric, it might be the dye, it might be a combination of things, but this is very much the reason why you test before you just go in and do it.
Next on the list starts with a little bit of old news, but then we have to give you a conspiracy theory because of something that just happened. If you have seen it, Poshmark Canada put out a little notice letting people know that if you are going to copy a listing directly as it is with no changes, it will not show up in the just in category anymore. And this hasn't been rolled out to US yet, but of course we're all speculating that if it went to Canada, it's coming here. And the bots have come up with ways around this. So the share bots, things like that, have decided that the thing that they can do to stop this from happening and still allow those copies to be in just in is to capitalize a few of the letters at the front of the title. And apparently that is working. Now, I haven't had any issues just yet on my closet. Some people are saying they're experiencing issues. If you are, I'd love to hear about it. But for me, right now, everything is still working as long as it is more than 60 days old. Still shows up in just in, but something to be aware of. And of course, this is making everyone really nervous. Is Poshmark coming for bots? Is it, with them partnering with Naver that has the technology that we all know is quite intense and comparable to Google? I mean,
it's up there. It's a huge tech company. So I think that they are very much going to be focusing on bots. I think it's for a vastly different reason. So my opinion...
We have an article to support this opinion.
We have a few articles to support this. My opinion and what I ascribe to is that Poshmark doesn't care about the sharing bots. Poshmark very much cares about the other bots that are accessing the system to take over accounts, to generate fake accounts, to swap out established closet banking information for someone else to take the money that you've earned. So there is very real concern that your account can be taken over or just the money taken from your account through bots and through malicious software. So I think that's where they want to crack down on this. Now, I don't know necessarily if they can tell the difference between the two types of bots. So that is something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, bot activity is bot activity, so it very well could be that because they are experiencing these account takeovers that are happening, and we can give you kind of a little blurb of where we saw this, that is a reason why they might be coming after all bots. So we did have a situation happen to us that we need to add to this conspiracy theory just a little bit. So do you have a tinfoil hat?
I do.
So recently, this past week, I actually found out that my account had been copied, impersonated.
You had identity theft on Poshmark.
Basically. So basically, what happened was I was researching one of my items, my top liked item, to see if maybe I had priced it too high, too low. Checking the comps on it because I needed to know why this had so many likes but wasn't selling. And when I did that, I found out the only other listing was my listing. It was me.
The second version of your listing in someone else's closet. Yep.
There was no difference between the two listings. I want to be really clear. All of my photos, my title, my description. So then I started thinking, did I sell this previously and this person's reposhing it and I forgot to delete it? So I started looking. No, didn't. Never sold to this person before. Very strange. So I went to their closet. They had 12 listings, I believe. 7 of them were mine.
Yeah, all the exact same as your closet. And that is past the coincidence point.
Yeah.
Where somebody may have found the same item that you have and they just were lazy. Totally get that. I would be lazy if I found the same item. I just copy, paste, take everything over. Fine. Make total sense.
Sure, except for one of the listings that really stood out was an Everlane dress. Now, this Everlane dress has a stain. I believe it's an oil stain. How convenient for this video. But has a stain, and they had that stain in their listing with the exact description of the stain that I put in my listing. That is not possible. That is insane. That is crazy. No way. So our conspiracy theory is that accounts like this are trying to make themselves look like real accounts, look like, I guess, me, but just not me, different name, but me, so that they can take over people's accounts, so that they can do whatever nefarious
they
bot
can do
activity
they can do the whole I will send you a check outside a Poshmark scam, or just send back a different item that has no connection to the real designer handbag, or
like those fake tracking things that they do where they send something out and it goes not even to your house but it shows up as I don't even know how that works.
You can open up a case and have Poshmark approve it and then send back something that's not the same. There are ways to scam where you need a dummy profile.
Yeah, so they made themselves look legitimate by looking like me, and it was kind of scary. Now, I will say that seeing this happen and having it happen to me specifically, it made me feel uncomfortable. It made me feel, I don't know, a little bit violated.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And all of your friends that you shared this with were horrified.
Yeah, it's just really, really creepy. And I am not someone that minds if you use my photos, you're going to reposh because, I don't know, it didn't fit you, whatever. I'm totally cool with that. What I don't like is when you pretend to be me.
Yeah, don't be yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone, be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be other people.
It's weird. It's weird. It's a little bit weird. So, now that that's happened to me, I kind of understand why Poshmark is going after bots. And I am a bot user. I'm not quiet about that. I am that. But I do think that security measures are needed. And that made me feel weird. So I can get it. I just don't know what the best way to do this is. But I think, conspiracy theory, that they are coming after people like that attacked me.
Yeah, and they have already actually removed it after you reported the account.
Did!
So they did actually do something, even though they gave you a generic email response, but the person has been removed from Poshmark.
Right. So thank you, Poshmark, for actually taking action pretty quickly. And then finally ending on a low note.
Ending on probably the single most disappointing part of this video is Poshmark has announced that lives are going to be available platform-wide.
Yeah, no, we don't know exactly how they're going to do that. In some of the articles, they do state that you still will need to sign up, but it is been announced in Forbes, in Business Insider, in anything you can think of that would cover Poshmark. It's been announced, so now the general public knows about it, and they will all be signing up. So it is opening the floodgates to the lives that anybody wants to do.
We have been very vocal on this channel saying that we do not like live shows. We have no interest in doing them. We feel that Poshmark is kind of forcing people's hands by making it compulsory rather than a fun little side venture. Mm-hmm. I envision that it's going to become even further diluted, that there's going to be no moderation of actually people selling. You're going to have people doing just
tarot readings like I've seen.
You're going to have people driving around or just hanging out and eating dinner. That is totally acceptable to do on a live, by the way. But have it on a live platform. Don't have it on a selling platform.
Yeah. So the one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is people that already enjoy live selling have been saying that the prices for these items are getting lower and lower and lower to meet the competition. And the more people you add into that, the more the demand becomes for those low prices. And it is increasing low ballers for us all across platform.
Yeah.
It's also a bad experience when they pop into a live and that's their first experience with Poshmark and it's not a great live. Maybe there is fighting going on, swearing going on, nefarious activity because there's been some weird stuff going on in some of these lives. And it gives them a bad taste for the platform. And we don't want to turn away buyers. That's never the goal. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. Poshmark did say in a lot of these articles that are talking about this being rolled out that they have really encouraging results from their testing. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they said that there's been 4 million bids on items, but we all know what that price point looks like, so I'm not sure what that looks like for their bottom line. Doesn't seem like any of the articles state that. If anybody has more information, I'd love to hear it. You can definitely leave those in the comments, but from what I can see, they say it's encouraging, but I don't know what that means.
I'm very, very pessimistic about this. I just see that your phone is going to get drowned with notifications for lives. You're going to have to unfollow every single person that you follow. You're going to have to find a way to not have your phone notification itself to death. I don't see a positive outcome now that it is released to everyone.
Yeah, I don't either. We will see. If you are a live seller and you really love it and you're doing really well, can you leave your experience down below? Because I think that I am probably in a group of people that have kind of started turning away from it, and I might be in an echo chamber, and I would love to hear about the people that are really enjoying it because again, as we always say, if it's a tool that's working for people, we're totally happy to support it. What we're not happy about is the fact that it seems like it's hurting the people that don't want to use that tool. And that should never be a mechanism on a platform. The tools should be an assistance, but never a detriment. And that's where we have a problem. But we'll see how this goes. So it's going to be rolling out. So if you want to sign up, it's open. You can do so. And let's see what those lives look like. Now, we have talked about lives before. We have given our feelings on them as it changes, as it grew. We've also said what we think Poshmark should be focusing on instead. And if you want to know what that is, click the link on the screen here.